Assalamu alaikum. Hi guys, this is Sarah. Today I just wanted to have a chat with you about a few things that have been on my mind right now or just whatever comes up. I did want to talk kind of briefly about some stuff that is staying indoors COVID related, but I'll put a, timestamp in the box below if you just don't really care to listen about that right now. And I totally get it. Skip it if you're bored of hearing about it, because I am pretty sick of hearing about it right now too. But I did, pretty much what I did want to touch on is like a few things that I've kind of reflected or learned about myself or thought about during this time of having to stay home. And let me say real quick that I'm in an incredibly privileged position because I can stay home. I haven't lost my job, and I have very, very little risk of exposure to this. I realize definitely for sure that people are dying. I realize that people are having to work and expose themselves. And I'm not in that position. I'm very lucky and privileged. And I just want to recognize that. I'm not complaining or anything like that. And these are just some things that I've reflected on. And I think that personal reflection is good in any time, especially when you have the time to personally reflect and think about the things that are going on in your life, whether you're somebody who's deeply affected or you're not. Just to clarify that first. For me, I actually think that I have felt a whole lot less stressed since I've started staying home. I've been home for about 2 months now. And in that time, in those 2 months, I think that I've gone outside under 5 times. That's not even like to take out the trash or anything like that. My husband does that. I haven't been outside almost at all in the past 2 months or so. I've been out, like I said, under 5 times. And it does make me like a little bit like I do want to go outside. Obviously, I enjoy hiking. I enjoy the outdoors, but I'm not going to expose myself. But overall, it has been mostly positive. I've noticed that I have a lot less stressors in my life, partially because I think that I really follow the kind of like habit that we have, or whatever in American society, that we just always have to do and always having to be learning a new skill or doing something new or getting something done. It just never ends. And I have felt that pressure for years to just keep going and going and going and going and going and never stopping. And I think that people just don't think about how toxic that feeling is to keep doing that all the time. It's not good for you. And I have recognized for a long time that it's not good for me, but I think that this has finally allowed me to start being able to relax. And don't get me wrong, in American society, people definitely relax. People watch TV, people, do the scrolling on their phones for forever. But I think that we don't feel good about it. We don't feel good about being able to relax. And I know there's somebody out there who will be like, yes, because that's a waste of time. But to me, I don't think that like relaxing, if it actually is relaxing and good for you, like you're doing things that are like not harmful, that it's good for you to relax and allow yourself to mentally relax. Because even if your body is physically relaxing, and you're not mentally relaxing and allowing yourself to take that in, you're not really fully getting the benefit from doing that relaxing. And I'm usually doing the body relaxing and not the mental relaxing. Because I know myself. My husband calls me the busy bee sometimes because he knows that I just don't stop. I always want to do something. And so this has helped me to kind of stop a little bit. And I know for a fact that some of my like stressors are stressors from like being outside, being in the workplace and that kind of thing. Again, not to say that I'm not grateful for my job, but everybody does have stress, especially when they're going out and they're commuting and that kind of thing. And I've noticed that me and my husband have had way less, little arguments or like, bickering at each other. from staying indoors together. And I think that it's the funniest thing that people have been joking lately about, like, oh, there's gonna be so many divorces after this is over. Like, I think that's so sad that spending more time with your significant other would make people want to divorce. When for me, it has definitely resulted in being more close with my husband, that we've had more time to spend together, and we've both enjoyed that more, that we're able to have that time together, and we're not always feeling stressed to like try to set aside time for each other and try to set a time for ourselves. We can have time together. We have plenty of time together, and we have plenty of time for ourselves. Like, even if you're thinking about just being in each other's presence is much nicer, even if we're both separately working, because we're both working from home remotely right now. Even if we're both just separately working, but being in each other's presence is a lot more comforting. And also how much time we're gaining back from commuting. Like, my commute by itself is, at the very least, with like commuting and doing stuff in between that kind of has to do with that, is probably like an hour and a half, I want to say, on a typical day I'm using just for that. And then plus my work day, and then plus that we got to go to bed early and that kind of stuff. It really doesn't leave a lot of time for your life in between work. And I just feel like I've gained a lot of my life back from working from home. Even though I am actually spending the whole day at work on my computer, I'm actually working the whole, the whole shift. But just cutting out that in-between time of traveling and all that has given me so much of my life back. And I really hope that I can continue to work from home once, things start transitioning back into how they were. As far as from looking at this from like a Ramadan perspective, I've been thinking that this has probably afforded a lot of people the opportunity to do more religious reflection in Ramadan. And what I mean by that is, I think that there's a lot of people who get very caught up in all of the social aspects of Ramadan. And don't get me wrong, it's a lot of fun. But sometimes focusing on self-reflection takes a bit of a back burner to all of the, getting together and enjoying each other, which in and of itself is not a bad thing. Please don't get me wrong, that I sound like some kind of haram police person over here. But I think that I'm just saying that this has probably allowed people to do even more of that reflective stuff and think about it more. And I'm sure that people will probably incorporate some of the things that they've learned in the future for Ramadan and how they think about Ramadan and how they enjoy it. I'm sure that some of my converts out here are going like, yeah, par for the course. This is, what we're usually doing, spending Ramadan alone, because I know that a lot of my converts out there are spending their Ramadans by themselves every year. And I hope that some of my born Muslims will reach out to you, whether right now that's for a virtual iftar or in the future for an in-person iftar. I hope that some of my born Muslims will reach out to people that you know in your community and invite them with you and your family, or to get-togethers, whatever you have. As far as now transitioning to staying inside related stuff, I have been kind of changing some stuff up with my setup. I'm sure that you guys have noticed that right now I'm downstairs, I'm on my couch, and I'm thinking that this is going to be the more permanent video spot from this video on. Where I usually do videos is up in my bedroom upstairs. Pretty much I have always filmed in there because it has the best natural light. I didn't have any kind of artificial lights, just as a, I guess, cost saving measure. But I've decided to switch over to artificial lights to give me more time to do filming. Pretty much before I was only doing filming on like Saturdays and Sundays, because that's all that I had the time for natural light after I got off of work. Because even when I'm staying at home, like I said, I'm actually working when I have my remote work during the day, so I can't just like go off and film a video in the middle of work in the middle of the day, even if I, for staying at home, let alone if I was actually in the office doing work. Because a lot of time, by the time I come home, it's already dark. And so I decided to get a couple of artificial lights. Right now I'm using 2 soft boxes, kind of here and here, to these forward positions. And I'm hoping that this lighting setup looks pretty good and pretty clear for you guys. And I do see like maybe some like very minimal shadows back here, but luckily it's not too bad. Maybe I'll end up getting a 3rd light, and then I also have some of the overhead lights going to also limit some of the shadows. Those lights aren't perfect because the overhead lights are, you know, more of a warm tone. They're not really that daylight tone, but my 2 soft boxes are the daylight tone. So hopefully this gives this a nice color and makes it very clear for you guys. Let me know if it's looking too dark. I'm thinking that I'm going to post the video without editing the light too much, just so that you guys can give me some tips if it's looking too dark. Which I know that this isn't like dark, but if it's just, you know, not quite the standard, I guess I should say. But yeah, I think natural light is great. I love using natural light, but unfortunately my house is really dark and it does limit the times when I can film, and it limits where I can film. Right now I'm actually filming, I think right now it's like maybe 11:30 at night. You guys are probably like, what are you doing, Sarah? Why is it so late? I'm gonna get myself a sip. You're probably like, what are you doing, Sarah? Why are you so late with filming? Again, I got off of work today, relaxed for a little bit. We had iftar, and then got my stuff ready, and eventually did a video after having a video call with my parents. So for me, staying up late and doing videos is a lot easier for me than, you know, trying to plan things early in the day, because even with my amateur videos here, it does take a while to plan and do all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to get my videos out on like a regular day. You've probably seen that I was posting them every Sunday at around the same time. I decided to switch over to Saturday because I'm thinking that that's probably going to hit a lot more of you guys on your weekend when you have more time to watch a video or whatever. You have more time to relax and just listen while you're doing whatever you're doing. So thank you for watching if you are. But yeah, and I kind of thought of it because I know that some of my family in India watches these videos. So hi family. And they're actually at about a 12-hour time difference from me. So when I post on Saturdays at 10 a.m. my time, which is Pacific time, for them it's about 12 p.m. Saturday. And so that kind of works. And I figured that that's going to cover most people in the world posting early Saturday on my time, and then it'll be late time for other people. So hopefully that works. But this is probably going to be the setup for a little bit. I'm going to, I think, make some artwork to put back here so that you guys have something a little bit more interesting to look at while I'm talking. But no concrete ideas yet on for what I'm going to do. I've kind of been wanting to do quite a bit of decorating around the house because I think that I've just been so busy with other things. I've just kind of gotten lazy about not decorating my house, even though I'm always watching stuff about like interior design. And, you know, I'm sure, like, I showed my bedroom to you guys last week, and you guys saw that my bedroom is like very, very simple. And I do like definitely a more minimal look, but I do like some decorations. I like looking at nice, pretty things too. So I did buy a sign actually for my kitchen. It's a tin sign that was manufactured in 1918 for the De Laval Creamery Company, and maybe I'll post a picture on Instagram or show you guys in a video in the next couple weeks or something. But I ordered it. It should be coming in sometime next week. But the reason why I bought that sign in particular, because if I show it to you guys, you're probably gonna be like, this is really old-fashioned looking. Are you like into old Americana? Which I kind of am into old Americana, but like I'm not like any kind of expert on it or anything like that. I think that it's definitely nice to kind of throw in those pieces around your house if you are, you know, American and enjoy that particular aesthetic, which is popular here, definitely. But my grandma has actually had that same tin sign, which was manufactured in 1918, in her house as long as I've been alive. It has been hanging on her wall in between her kitchen and her living room. And I asked her about it actually one time because I was gonna ask her if I could take the sign, take it to like a printing shop and have a copy made of it. And then I was thinking, I was like, you know what, why don't I just find like another sign that has been manufactured if I can find one, since it's so old at this point. You know, it's actually over 100 years old at this point. So I was like, why don't I just find one instead? Because the amount of money it would take for me to get this like professionally, like a photo taken of it or like scanned properly to get a good enough print would probably be just as expensive as me finding one online. So I looked online and I've been kind of like looking for a while because there's a lot of reproductions of it online. And most of them come in this smaller size. And that's not as large as my grandmother's. And I have found like a few that are her actual size that I'm pretty sure were originally also manufactured in 1918. And so I ended up buying one of those once I found a eBay auction that I thought was at an affordable price for me. And I got one of those. So I'm very excited for that to come in. And that's going to be kind of the first thing that I bought that I'm going to have in here for decorating, and I'm hoping to make a few other things to put on my wall and curate some stuff for my collection. I'm also into collecting coins from around the world and old coins and American coins. I don't really have anything in my collection that is of like really high value. It's kind of more of like a sentimental thing. I have some older coins from my dad's collection, but again, you know, it's not really anything of high value in case anybody is coming and thinking of robbing my house. I don't have anything of high value in my coin collection. Probably my most valuable coins are maybe like a $25 coin here or there. But yeah, I just like collecting coins. I've been collecting coins since I was a kid from different places in the world. And whenever people go traveling, I ask them to get coins for me as a souvenir from the country. Speaking of traveling, my husband and I went to Japan this last November, and we really enjoyed Japan. We do plan on going back sometime. And I wanted to know if any of you guys out there have suggestions for where you think that I should go traveling next. What was really nice about Japan is it is a very modern country, but I think that there's like a lot of old, beautiful things to see there. And it also feels really safe, not just as a traveler coming from like a first world country who's like, oh, you know, I gotta make sure that, you know, I'm not traveling to these poor countries that are unsafe. Like, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying that it feels very safe from like a Muslim perspective, because I feel like I spend a lot of time in the United States trying to analyze whether I am safe or not. Even where I live, you know, I don't really trust praying out in public by myself because I feel unsafe and that kind of thing. But I felt extremely safe as a Muslim in Japan. They have a lot of halal food, by the way, if you're thinking about traveling to Japan. And I'll actually link a travel channel in the description box below of a girl who is Muslim who has done extensive travel in Japan and has lived in Japan for some periods of time, though she doesn't live there now, in case you're interested in watching any of her videos. But Japan is definitely a great place to go if you're Muslim. There's a lot of Muslims who travel to Japan. I saw way more hijabis in Japan than I've ever seen in the US. So it's a very nice place to travel. So let me know if you guys have any suggestions for places that me and my husband can travel that are relatively safe. He definitely has a lot of vacation time built up. I don't know if I do, so It's something that realistically that maybe we could travel within like a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks, tops. I'm definitely missing being in India. We haven't been back, I think, since 2016, and I'm really missing some of our family over there. We do video chats, but I don't speak the language. My husband actually doesn't either, and so it's difficult sometimes to connect to your family in that way. When you're in person, you can feel somebody's feelings for you, even if you can't understand them. So it's different, but I'm trying to learn a little bit if I can, so that I can hopefully speak to them in the future, because I really miss them a lot. Yeah, next time we go to India, I definitely want to see more things. I think that, so last time I went to India, that was the very first time that we had ever, or I say we, but actually the first time that I had ever gone to India. My husband has gone to India so many times since he was a kid, but it was the first time I had ever been to India. And of course, any of my Daisies out there know that if you're visiting your family back home, you have to go to everybody's house. And when you're Indian, your family is huge. So we went to like everybody's house. It was very exhausting for me because I guess, of course, the time change and then, traveling to people's houses, it's pretty tough to do a lot of that stuff when you're doing so much new stuff. But I'm kind of hoping to see more things next time we go. I would like to just go out more, because we did see a lot of people's houses. We went to a few neat areas, but we didn't really do too much extensive traveling. My husband's family does live in Himachal, and it is an extremely beautiful state. It's known for being clean. It's known for generally being more safe than some other parts of India. And I think that it would be a very nice place to travel. It's also pretty popular for tourists as far as for sites related to Buddhism there. Of course, I'm not an expert on India. I don't know everything about Himachal, but that's kind of just my my understanding. And I just really, I miss seeing everybody there. I miss my aunts there, which, I guess it feels a little bit weird calling them aunts, because they have, their own names in Hindi, my chachis or my foofis. And so I miss seeing everybody, and I get a little bit spoiled since I'm a new bride, so that's always kind of fun. And of course I miss everybody, but yeah, I think that that's probably the place that I would like to go next, just to, go back and visit everybody, since we haven't been there since 2016. But I think that probably realistically we're going to be traveling somewhere else in between that, because an India trip has to be really, really planned and fleshed out like a year in advance, for my father-in-law to look for tickets and for everybody to have a time to go, because I don't know how realistic it is for me and my husband to go by ourselves, since neither of us know Hindi. We only know English, really. So I think that India can be kind of a difficult country to travel to if you don't really know the language very well. I have, like I said before, I believe, I have been learning a little bit online, like trying to learn the alphabet and that kind of thing, but I have gotten a little bit sidetracked. I'm trying not to get sidetracked. By the way, you guys probably see me wearing Indian clothes like a lot. I'm wearing a shalwar kameez right now. I think that it's just like easy stuff to wear, I do wear shalwar kameez like quite a bit outside of the house. And when I say quite a bit, I don't mean like all the time, but I think that I definitely wear it actually a lot more than my Desi girlfriends do, because it's kind of odd. I feel like when I ask like my Desi girlfriends about how often they wear shalwar kameez, a lot of them feel embarrassed. And that's probably, I bet, because of, you know, stupid kids bullying them when they were little or some crap like that. But, you know, obviously I never had that experience since I, you know, have kind of married into this culture and I'm not, you know, personally part of this culture, but I enjoy wearing shalwar kameez. It's mostly pretty comfortable except for like formal wear. So I guess right now what you could call what I'm wearing is kind of casual. But yeah, I enjoy wearing shalwar kameez on a pretty regular basis. It's really easy to pray into. Oh, and this shawl from behind me is also from Himachal. So repping India today, guys, apparently. Anyway, I think that I'm gonna wrap it up for the night, and I am thinking of video ideas for next week. Let me know if you have any ideas of things that you'd like to learn about or things that you would like to hear me talking about, and I will do my best to incorporate your video ideas wherever I can. Alrighty guys, I hope that you're all staying safe and enjoying your last days of Ramadan here, and I will be seeing you guys soon. Thank you guys so much for watching, and Assalamu alaikum.